Hi guys. So as promised in this session we'll discuss the model questions, few model questions on market equilibrium and government intervention with market. Okay, so we'll start with the discussion on MCQ questions and we have 15 MCQs in this paper. First question, the market demand function for coconut is QD equals 300 minus 6P and the supply function is QS equals 20 minus 8P. If the price of a coconut is set at 13 rupees, the coconut market will experience. Okay, so now there is a price which has been set. You don't know whether it is below the equilibrium or above the equilibrium. So you can easily calculate equilibrium by equating QD and QS, which will give you the equilibrium price of 20. Okay, so when you are given a question of this nature, to something to do with numbers, something to do with curves, better you draw the curves because it will give you better understanding about the question and you can select the most appropriate answer in this way. Okay, so now your equilibrium price is 20, price which has been set is 13. Okay, which means your supply is less, your demand is more, there will be excess demand. Clear? When there is excess demand in the market, what will happen? Producers will increase the price. Okay, so for question number 1, the answers will read 1 equilibrium. Coconut market won't experience equilibrium because equilibrium price is 20. Excess demand causing a rise in price. We'll leave that and read the next one. Excess demand causing fall in the price. When there is excess demand, price will never go down. Your supply is limited, demand is more than the supply. Then the producers will increase the price. Okay, excess supply causing a rise in price. Excess supply can't happen when the price falls. Excess supply causing a fall in price. Again, excess supply is not a reality when the price falls. Therefore, the correct answer is answer 2, excess demand. Yes, there is excess demand and this excess demand will cause to a rise in the prices. Okay. Question number 2. Which of the following takes place when a tax is placed on a good? We'll see. Now there is a tax. So easy, if you can draw the diagram. Draw the diagram and see what will happen when there is a tax. So this was the equilibrium price. Equilibrium price has increased. Equilibrium quantity has reduced. Supply curve shifts left. Yes? Okay. We'll read first one. A decrease in the price buyers pay and an increase in the price sellers receive and a decrease in the quantity sold. There is no decrease in the price buyers pay. Equilibrium price increases. That is the price buyers pay increases. Okay, second one, an increase in the price buyers pay. That is true. A decrease in the price sellers receive, also true. And increase in the quantity sold, no. Supply curve shifting left means the quantity sold becomes less. Okay, third one, a decrease in the price buyers pay and increase in the price sellers receive and then increase in the quantity sold. Again, there is no decrease in the price buyers pay, that is wrong. So we are left with the fourth answer, but we'll read and see. Fourth answer, an increase in the price buyers pay, that is correct. A decrease in the price sellers receive, again correct, and a decrease in the quantity sold, that is also correct. So for question number 2, answer 4. Question 3. Consider the supply equation given below. QS equals minus 20 plus 5P. Assume that the government grants a specific production subsidy of rupees 3 per unit on the above commodity. The new supply equation is, so if you all remember in the presentation, I have given you the equation. How to arrive from the original equation when there is a tax or a subsidy, how you arrive at the new equation after tax or subsidy. Okay, so you can use that equation here, P plus the subsidy amount. And you simplify this, you will get this QS equals minus 5P. Okay. Question 4. Which of the following statements is true if the government places a price ceiling on petrol at 110 rupees per litre when the equilibrium price is 115 rupees per litre? So you don't have to calculate the equilibrium price. They have already calculated. Okay. So the price ceiling is 110. Equilibrium price is 115. Now what will happen? A significant increase in demand for petrol. Will there be excess demand? Yes. Could cause the price ceiling to become a binding constraint. Yes. Because of the price ceiling, suppliers are not willing to supply more. But there is the excess demand. That is true. We'll read the second one. A significant increase in the supply of petrol. No. When there is a price ceiling, the price that the sellers receive falls. When the price that you receive falls, there's no way that you supply more. Okay, so second answer is wrong. There will be a shortage of petrol. Is that true? Yes. When the supply is less and the demand is more, there is excess demand, which means there is a shortage of petrol. That answer is also true. Fourth one, there will be a surplus of petrol. No. So answer number 1 and 4 both are correct. But the catch here is, guys, answer number 1 explains more about this situation. It's not that answer 3 is correct, but the first answer explains more. It relates more to the given situation. Okay, so when you're given this kind of a question, you should be smart enough to identify the most appropriate answer. Okay. Question 5. Which of the following is not a strategy that can be used to remove black market price in the market? So black markets arise when there is a price ceiling or a maximum price which has been set. So this is a theory question. First answer, using a quota system to distribute existing production among consumers. True, you can use that. Exporting of excess supply. So when you read that itself, you can identify it is wrong. Why? Because when there will be no excess supply. When there is a maximum price or a price ceiling, excess demand is there in the market, not excess supply. So it will be not a strategy that can be used. Either way, we'll read the rest 3 and see. Third one, granting subsidies to producers or reducing taxes. That you can do. Reducing the prices of substitutes by reducing taxes or granting subsidies, again true. Fourth one, importing excess demand. Importing excess demand. So when there is excess demand, you can import the product or you can import production substitutes. See, so those are the things that you can do. And this exporting excess supply, you can't do because there is no excess supply. Okay. Question 6. When a minimum price regulation is imposed on a good by the government, what will happen? Will excess demand result? Minimum supply price to minimum price regulation is above the equilibrium quantity. Excess supply will result. True. Excess demand will result? No. Trading will continue at equilibrium. Can you trade at equilibrium when there is a minimum price? No. Firms will sell the quantity that they wish at this price. Can they sell any quantity that they like? No, they can sell only the quantity demanded. Consumer surplus will decrease. This decrease in consumer surplus will actually depend on what government policy they are being followed, whether it is a government purchase or a deficiency payment system. So we can't exactly say what will happen. Therefore, the correct answer is answer number 1, which is excess supply will result. Okay. Question 7. As shown in the diagram below, in year 1, the market for paddy is in equilibrium at E, where S1 is the paddy supply and D is the demand. In year 2, The paddy production increases to S2. Paddy production increases to S2 due to the guaranteed price of OP2 announced by the government. Earlier price was OP1. Now government has announced a guaranteed price of OP2. What is the quantity of paddy that the government will have to purchase in year 2? So the government is purchasing the excess stocks. At price P OP2, consumers are willing to buy only OQ amount. This is the new supply curve. This is your demand curve. Okay. New supply curve is here. This is your price. This is the current price. This is the guaranteed price. At this guaranteed price, consumers are willing to buy only OQ amount, OQ2 amount of goods. But the suppliers or sellers are willing to supply OQ4 amount of goods. Then what will happen? This government will have to buy this excess amount. Can you see? Consumers are willing to buy only this amount. Suppliers are willing to supply this amount. So this excess supply the government is gonna purchase. So what is the amount of paddy or quantity of paddy that the government has to purchase? Q2 to Q4. Okay. Question 8. A product with perfectly elastic supply has sales of 100 units per week at a price of 2 rupees per unit. Price elasticity of demand is minus 1.5 over the relevant range. If the government imposes a tax of 20%, what will be the government's weekly tax revenue? Okay, now this is bit of concepts put it together. Okay, so we'll see. How do we solve this question? The question is weekly tax revenue. Okay, we'll see. First thing that you have to calculate is what the tax amount. What will be the product price after tax? Okay, currently it is 2 rupees. Tax is 20%. Okay, so 2 into 20, that is 40 cents will be the increase in price. Okay, that is 2 rupees and 40 cents will be your price of the product after the tax imposition. Why the tax amount, why the price of the product increased by the full amount of tax? Because supply is perfectly elastic. Okay, if the government imposes a tax of 20%, government tax is 20%. That means price increased by 20%. What will be the fall in demand? When price increased by 1 unit, demand fall by 1.5 units. When price increased by 20%, 20% into 1.5 is the fall in demand, that is 30%. Okay, then the demand. If demand fall by 30%, earlier we had 100 units demand per week. Now it will be only 70% of this, that is 70 units. Okay, so now you have the demand of 70 units per week and the tax is 40 cents per unit. So 40 cents into 70 is 28. That is your weekly tax revenue. Okay. The diagram shows the demand curve for train journeys. The train company reduces the fare for a train journey from OP1 to OP2. Now here the train journey fares have been reduced. Earlier it was OP1, this amount. Okay, that is price was P1 and the quantity or the number of passengers was Q1. Okay, now they have reduced it to OP2. That means price is P2, quantity is Q2. Which areas measure the consumer surplus that at the new fare for original passengers and for additional passengers? So earlier consumer surplus was limited to V. Yes. Now new consumer surplus is, this is the price consumers pay, this is the maximum demand price, and this is the quantity. So this bigger triangle, that is V, W, and Y. Original consumers were Q1 number, Q1 amount. Okay. So what is the increase in their consumer surplus? That is this W. Okay, so the consumer surplus for original percentages is V plus W. Earlier they had V, no? V and W are their consumer surplus. For additional percentages that are joining, that is this Q2 minus Q1 amount, that is this Y area. Okay, so for original percentages it is W and V. For additional percentages, that is Y, consumer surplus. Question 10. The following diagram shows that when the government imposes a specific indirect tax on production of a commodity, the market supply curve shifts from S to S1. The market supply curve shifts from S to S1. Then what will be the incident of tax on consumers and producers? We'll see. Equilibrium price before tax was 8, quantity was 300. Okay. After tax, equilibrium price is 10. So 10 is the price paid by the consumers, and price received by the sellers is 5. Okay. What they are asking is the tax incident on the consumers and producers. Equilibrium price was 8. Consumers now pay 2. So for each unit they pay 2 units additional, 2 units extra because of the tax. And now with the tax they only purchasing 150 units. Okay, so the tax burden on consumer will be increase in price because of tax into the number of units purchased. That is 2 into 150. So tax burden or tax incident on consumers will be 300 rupees. Okay. Then producers. Producers earlier received 8 rupees. Now they are receiving only 5 rupees. That means their revenue or the amount they received has fallen by 3 rupees. And now they are only selling 150 units. So the tax burden on producers is going to be the fall in price, or the tax in, this is the per unit tax that they pay, 3 rupees. 3 times 150, which is 450. So consumers bear 300 and the producers bear 450. Question 11. If the government announces a subsidy to support milk production in Sri Lanka, as shown in the diagram, which of the following would represent the cost of subsidy to the government? So S1 is the original supply curve, D is the demand curve. Okay, when this amount is supplied, price is P1, quantity is Q1. Okay, now what happens? A subsidy has been introduced. That is, supply curve shifts right. Supply curve is now S2. Price is P2. Quantity is Q2. Okay, but at this quantity, consumers receive P3 as the price. Okay, so this is the subsidy payment per unit, P3 minus P2. This area is the subsidy payment per unit subsidy into number of units, that is the subsidy cost to the government. So the area is P2, P3, M and Y. So the answer is the first one, P2, P3, M. Y is the subsidy cost of the subsidy to the government. Question 12. The table below shows the market demand schedule and the supply schedules for a good before and after the imposition of a specific tax on essential commodity. Now you are given quantity demanded and quantity supplied before tax and after tax, and you are requested to calculate per unit tax. Okay, if you remember guys, these equations, when you are given a schedule like this, how you calculate the tax, how you calculate the subsidy, all these things were there in the presentation. So if you want, you can go through them, and also guys, you can use those presentation slides as a short note. Okay, so it will be easy for you to revise the equations and this consumer surplus, producer surplus, and small concepts through that. It will be easy for you to remember as well. Okay, so we'll see how we do this question. To know what tax is, you need to know the slope. That is B. B is delta QS over delta P. That is change in quantity supplied. Okay, for change in price. Change in price is 1. Change in quantity supplied is 10. So B is 10 over 1, which is 10. Okay. How you calculate tax? Tax is change in the quantity supplied. That is before tax and after tax. Okay. That is not quantity supplied before tax change. No. Change in quantity supplied before tax and after tax divide by this B figure. Okay. That is how you get the tax amount. You see, you take any pair, you take the change in quantity supplied at any level of price. It can be 12, 13 or whatever. See, earlier 30 units were supplied, but now only 0 units. Earlier 40 units, now 10 units. Earlier 50 units, now 20 units. So in every level of price, the change in quantity supplied is 30. Okay, so you take 30, that is the delta QST. QST is quantity supplied after tax. Okay, delta QST is change in quantity supplied after tax. That is this difference. Okay, so you divide it by the B value, that is 10. So 30 divided by B, 30 divided by 10, you get the answer 3. So your unit tax is 3 rupees per unit. Okay, next question. The diagram below shows a country's demand curve for an imported consumer good. The government of this country imposes an import duty equal to P1, P2 per unit of output. So luckily we have the diagram, the important part here. So import duty. Your import duty is early P1 to P2. This distance is your import duty. Okay. So that means earlier the price that you paid was P1. Now you have to pay P2 because of the import duty. Okay. Can you see? Now the diagram has to come like this. Okay. So when the diagram comes like that, what they're asking is which areas of the diagram measures the resulting loss of consumer surplus and the resulting gain in the government revenue. Earlier consumer surplus was A, B, C. Why? Because you paid only P1 amount. But now you are paying P2 amount, which means your consumer surplus is limited to A. Okay. That means you lose B and C. So loss in consumer surplus is B and C. And what does government get? With at P2 price, you are purchasing only this amount of the good. That means the government revenue is B. Okay. 14th question. When the government imposes an indirect tax on production, in which of the following circumstances the price of the product is likely to rise by the full amount of tax? That is referring to that table which I gave you with the supply elasticities and the change in equilibrium price and the burden on who. If the price elasticity is perfectly elastic, then only the price of the product will rise by the full amount of the tax. Question 15. Again, I'm sorry, the diagram is not very clear, but in the question papers which you all have tried, the question is, the diagram is there. Okay. The diagram below shows the supply of and demand for milk with an initial price of OP. The government now decides to impose a maximum price of P max. The most likely outcome would be, now guys, in your diagram you can see this P max, this maximum price is above the equilibrium. Okay, in the question papers, you can see the maximum price is above the equilibrium. So when you see that itself, you can identify this maximum price is not effective, because maximum prices we impose to save consumers. What is the point in imposing a maximum price if that is above the equilibrium price? No point, right? So we'll see what the most likely outcome would be. Excess supply of milk at EF. Will there be excess supply of milk at EF? No. Why? Because consumers will not pay this maximum price. Why they need to pay maximum price when the objective of the maximum price is to save the consumers, but it is above the above the equilibrium. See, a shortage of milk at EF. No, if the market is going to function at EF, that maximum price, then there will be excess supply only. The price of OP being maintained. We'll leave that answer. And the next one is a reduction in price of from Pmax to OP. No. So obviously, guys, the market will function at OP. Okay, because there is no point in increasing the price when the objective is to save the consumers. Okay. So that's it for the MCQ questions. I hope everyone understood. Okay. So now we'll start with the essay type questions. The demand and supply equations for rice are given below. So you are given the equations. Where QS is quantity supplied, QD is quantity demanded, and P is price in rupees. Calculate the consumer surplus and producer surplus at equilibrium. What you have to do is, guys, you have to equate these two equations. Okay, equate these two equations, then you get the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Okay, but that is not the requirement. No, your requirement is to calculate consumer surplus and producer surplus. So to do that, what you can do is, it's easy when you are given this kind of a question. Draw a graph, put the values, whatever the values you find. Okay, draw lines and make sure you put the values to the graph. So in further questions also, it will help you to identify the numbers. It will help you to deal with the question more easily. Okay, so then you can calculate consumer surplus and producer surplus. So you have to calculate the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Then you need to know what is the maximum demand price and the minimum supply price. So if you can calculate those numbers, so the way to calculate is very clear. It is all mentioned here. Okay. You can calculate consumer surplus, which is the area of this triangle. That is the maximum demand price, equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. And consumer surplus, minimum supply price, equilibrium quantity, equilibrium demand, and equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Okay. Second question. Assuming that the government imposes a floor price of 16 rupees per unit. Now you know equilibrium price. Now there is a floor price of 16 rupees. Calculate the excess demand or excess supply. Now what you can do is, at 16 rupees, what will be your demand? Okay, if for the price you put 16 and calculate your demand. Then for the price you put 60 and calculate your supply. Then quantity supplied minus quantity demand is your excess supply. How do we know whether it is a excess supply or excess demand? Because it says it is a price flow. Flow price is above the equilibrium where supply is greater than the demand. If government purchases the excess stocks resulted by the flow price, what is the total cost to consumers in buying the stocks in the market? What they're asking is cost to consumers. If this floor price is maintained, now you know the floor price, you know what will be the quantity demanded. So easy question, that is, you have to multiply 16 by 8 to get the cost to consumers. When government imposes 16 rupees guaranteed price, what will be the new market price paid by the consumers? Okay, that is, they're asking the value that comes here. The government has introduced a guaranteed price of 16. Okay, the guaranteed price is 16. At 16, consumer supply, the market supply is 28 units. Can you see at 16, market supply is 28 units. Okay. When the market supply is 28 units, how much the consumers are willing to pay? That is what you have to calculate, and that is 6. When QD is 28. When QD is 28, what is the price that the consumers are willing to pay? Question 5. Assuming that the government implements a deficiency payment system at the floor price, calculate the government expenditure. So you know the price here. Yes, floor price is this. So this is the payment per unit that the government has to make, multiplied by this number, that is 28, that is the deficiency payment that needs to be made by the government. Okay. Question 2. Answer the following questions using the graph that shows the effect of unit tax on producers. So guys, here you don't have any values to be found. All the values are given to you. You have to calculate. Okay. What is the equilibrium price and quantity before and after tax? Before tax supply curve is this. Demand curve is here. Okay. Price paid, equilibrium price before tax is this intersection, that is 21. Equilibrium quantity is 147. With tax, supply curve shifts left. Equilibrium price is going to be 28. Equilibrium quantity is going to be 105. What is the total unit tax and the unit tax borne by the consumer? So we know unit tax is this distance, the vertical distance between the two supply curves. Okay, that is 28 minus 14, that is the unit tax. And the tax borne by consumer is, what is the price earlier paid by the consumers? What is the price currently being paid by the consumers? And the difference between those two prices is the unit tax borne by the consumers. What is the total tax revenue collected after the tax is imposed? Per unit tax is 14 rupees. And after the tax imposition, what is the quantity that is being purchased? What is the equilibrium quantity, which is, that is 105. Then what is the total tax revenue is unit tax multiplied by the equilibrium quantity, that is 14 multiplied by 105. Fourth question, what is the producer surplus when the market is in equilibrium before and after tax? Producer surplus. Earlier producer surplus was this big triangle, that is 21, 0 to 21 and 147 is the quantity supplied. This triangular area is the producer surplus before the tax. After tax, producers receive only 14 rupees, which means the producer surplus is limited to this smaller triangular area. Last question, one before the last. What is the consumer surplus when the market is in equilibrium? So earlier it was producer surplus, now consumer surplus the same way. This bigger triangle was the consumer surplus before tax, and this smaller triangle is the consumer surplus after tax. Then what is the dead weight loss? This triangle. If you know the areas, if you had gone through the slides properly, and if you have studied those areas properly, this is nothing for you, because in those slides everything was very clear. Right? This will be the consumer surplus before tax, this is the after tax, this will be the government revenue, this is the dead weight loss, if there is a tax, and if there is a subsidy, what is the economic consequences. Everything was very clear. So that's why I rushed through this area, guys. It's just a matter of remembering those things. Okay. Question 3. The following equation shows demand and supply equations of a hypothetical market. And you are given the equations. If government impose a price ceiling of ₹6 to this market, what is the excess demand under price ceiling? Excess demand is now we are given what it is. It is excess demand. So that is QD minus QS. So for this price, You replace price with 6 and you simplify this, then you will end up with the excess demand price. Okay, that is the excess demand quantity. That is the quantity that is excessively demanded by the market when the price is 6 rupees. What is the maximum black market price and the black market price range? Okay, now you know your quantity supplied with the price ceiling is going to be 24 units. Yes, quantity supplied with the price ceiling is going to be 24 units. When the quantity supplied is 24 units, what is the price that the consumers are willing to pay? So to calculate this value, you can take 24 as the quantity demanded and calculate the price. Okay guys, that is the maximum black market price. And the black market price range is your price, equilibrium price to the maximum black market price. That range is what you call the black market price range. Okay, the price range from the equilibrium price to black market price. What is the consumer surplus with and without black market price? Again guys, I didn't draw the diagram for this. You can draw the diagram, you can find the values. It will easily help you to calculate this consumer surplus and producer surplus. Fourth question. Some of the data relevant for market demand and supply schedules are given below. Assuming both demand and supply curves are linear, derive the equation for market demand and supply curves. Compute the equilibrium price and quantity. So you have to derive the equations and calculate. Okay, so we know QD is A minus BP, QS is minus A plus BP. So you can calculate the value of B. Then you place this 2, the number that you find for the value of B. And you can take any pair out of this, okay, and then find the value of A. This way you can calculate the equations, the demand equation as well as the supply equation. Then you equate the two equations, you will get the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. So here again, I have put the values to a diagram. This way, it is easy for us to understand what this is, what this question is all about. Okay, next one. If the government imposes a specific tax of 8 rupees per unit, calculate the price received by producer after tax and the tax revenue of the government. Now what happens? A specific tax of 8 rupees. This is the specific tax of 8 rupees. Question is price received by the producer. So first what you have to know is what is the supply curves equation after tax. You can use that earlier equation and you can calculate, you can arrive at the new supply equation. Okay, then you equal this to the demand curve, that is the price paid by the consumer. Okay, that is the price paid by the consumer, and from that price paid by the consumer you have to deduct the amount of tax, then you will get the price received by the producer. Here you can see guys, so I calculate the supply curve equation after tax, then I equate that equation with the demand curve, which gave me the price of 20. That means the consumers are paying 20 rupees, but producer doesn't receive the total 20. No, you see, consumers are paying 20. How do I know how much producers are receiving? That is from 20 I have to deduct the tax amount. See, this is a tax distance, this is the unit tax. I have to deduct the unit tax, which will give me 12. Okay, then I need to know what is the quantity supplied after tax. If price is 12, how much am I willing to supply? Then for this quantity, what is the government revenue? Unit tax is 8 and number of units that are being supplied is 4. 8 into 4 is the government revenue. Next question. Instead of tax, assuming that the government grants a specific subsidy of 2 rupees per unit, calculate the price paid by the consumer. Now it is not a tax, it is a subsidy. So the same earlier way, instead of deducting the tax value from the price paid by the producer, price paid by the consumer. We have to add the subsidy amount to get the price received by the producer. Okay, and then you can calculate the producer surplus. Clear? Last question. Instead of tax or subsidy, if there is a price ceiling at 8 rupees, what would be the maximum black market price? Now there is no subsidy, there is no tax, there is a price ceiling at 8 rupees. Then what will be the maximum black market price? So you need to calculate at 8 rupees what is going to be the quantity supplied, and that only if that quantity is available in the market, for that quantity how much the consumers are willing to pay, and that is your black market price. Okay guys, so that's it for the paper discussions. These are few model questions. Try this paper again. I know when you study only theory from this area, yes, it's a bit of complicated. Okay, but when you try more questions, you will understand the theories or the concepts, mostly no theories, more the concepts in depth. Okay, so when you hear the word, this is what is happening, there is a tax, then you will know what to do. When there is a subsidy, you will know what to do. There is a deficiency payment system, you will know how the calculations are going to be. So the more you practice questions on this area, the more you will be able to understand how to deal, how to tackle with those questions. Okay guys, so do this paper again, do more questions, and this is a very easy area to score marks. Because if you are good with these numbers, okay, all these additions and multiplications that we have. So if you are good with these numbers, small calculations, okay. So and if you are good with the concepts, consumer surplus, producer surplus, deadweight loss, put a bit of effort, study the equations, then it is not a difficult area to score. So obviously you will be getting a question from this area. This is apart from your second lesson. Apart from elasticity, this is all what you have in the second lesson. Okay, so put a little bit of effort, study the equations, do this paper again. I hope I was clear with all the explanations, and I'll be sending you guys the answer sheet as well. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you.